Hey, welcome. This week's live. Let's see. So wait a couple minutes here. Welcome. All right. So before we get started with this week's live, if it's your first time here, welcome to Ninth Island Connection. We are a weekly lifestyle television show all about Vegas. So check out our channel so that you can see how you can watch our television show. We air in Southern California. We air right here in Vegas with Cox Cable, probably about 15 to 20 times per week. We air across the entire state of Hawaii and Yuma, Arizona, where our show also streams on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku. So all you have to do is just download the Hey Vegas app, and you can watch our first 4 seasons of our television show. So, hey, Lisa, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Just updating us, updating everyone about our television show. And I wanted to share that right at the beginning here because we did just renew. Hey, Tiffany, happy Wednesday. Hey, Chad. So we just did renew. Hey, Gail. We renewed all of our agreements with our television stations that we air on. So super excited for that. We're in full swing shooting for season 5 of our television show. Hey, welcome, Side Bet, Tracy. We're in full swing shooting for our television show. So if you follow our social media, it looks like we're staying on the strip every week. And that's because we actually just stayed 2 nights at Caesar's Palace. We're going to be staying at Flamingo at the end of the month. We're just doing so much shooting. We have a new episode that's premiering tonight, and it's all about Fashion Show Las Vegas. So if you're able to watch our television show, check it out. It does premiere tonight in every market. So check us out. All right, let's get started with what's going on in Vegas. And it's nuts. It's busier right now in Vegas than I've seen it in a really long time. Before we get into that, let's start with, hey, Darren and Arlene. Hey, in Scotland, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So it's crazy right now. So the weather is actually pretty perfect to be outdoors, which I always encourage. And again, just right at the beginning of this live, I just want to disclose, nobody pays us to recommend any business, any restaurant, any activity. Nobody pays us for anything that we do here on YouTube. I did get asked that a couple times. Somebody said, you should disclose your sponsorships and that kind of stuff. Nobody sponsors our YouTube. Nobody pays for anything. And I think that's why so many people like our channel, because we don't have endorsements for YouTube. All of our videos are just our experience. Like right there, eating at Beijing Noodle 9 at Caesar's Palace. We just wanted to try it, and we did, and we made a video. Be there on Sunday. The weather's going to be perfect, Darren. You expect low 60s, mostly sunny, low 60s, no wind. So it's actually really nice to just be out and about, whether you're walking the strip, you're checking out the arts district, you're down in the Fremont area, or you get off the strip and head into Chinatown for some food. Check out Golden Tiki out there in Chinatown. The weather's going to be perfect to be outdoors this upcoming weekend. But there's also a lot of construction going on out there. Half of Las Vegas Boulevard is being repaved. They're trying to get that done before Super Bowl, which is just in a few weeks. The entire sidewalk in front of Bellagio is shut down as they're constructing a platform for, I believe CBS is going to be broadcasting from the Bellagio fountains. They're building a massive platform right on the fountains there. So the entire sidewalk is shut down. So you can forget about standing out there watching a fountain show anytime before Super Bowl, and probably a couple weeks after Super Bowl, as they're going to have to tear all that stuff down after it's all done. So just expect there to be a lot of traffic. especially being this is the first time that Super Bowl is ever going to be in Vegas. And Super Bowl in Vegas is already busy enough. People come in to hit up the sports books and gamble and watch the big game at their favorite restaurant. So now that it's actually going to be here, it's just crazy busy. The city is in full Super Bowl mode right now. So it's pretty nuts. All right. And if you're going to be coming in for Super Bowl, if you haven't booked your trip already, room rates are already about $850 for Super Bowl weekend. That's per night. And that's from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Look them up. They're a very credible news source here in Vegas. They surveyed all 36 hotels on the Las Vegas Strip and around the Las Vegas Strip, and average room rates are going to be about $850 per night during Super Bowl weekend. So that's already higher than Formula One. Formula One room rates were $250, $500 as we got closer to the race. So it's higher than it was for Formula One. You can expect surge pricing for ride share. What does that mean? That means it's going to cost more for a Lyft or an Uber, as well as taxis, just because they know that it's going to take them longer to get you where you're going, because there's going to be tons of road closures and just so many people here in town for that big game. So just a heads up on that if you're going to be here for Super Bowl. So let's talk about another announcement. The Killers, who are from Vegas, one of my favorite bands. They just announced 8 shows at Caesar's Palace at the Coliseum in the month of August. And I know typically with these updates, we talk about what's going on this weekend, but those tickets just went on sale. So if you're planning on coming to Vegas in August, or if you want to see the Killers, they will be here in August. They just announced that concert, 8 shows at Caesar's Palace in August. Hey, Arnold, how's it? Welcome. Hey, Vance and Grady, how's it going, everybody? Darren. Oh, again, that's right. You guys are going to be here Sunday from Scotland. Another announcement that just happened right now, and I don't know. I mean, I can speculate why they do these sorts of things. And it's pure greed is all that I can think of. MGM Resorts has announced that their resort fees are increasing this year, anywhere from $2 to $6 per property. Obviously, the $6 increase, that's going to be at properties like MGM, Mandalay Bay, Bellagio, I think has the highest increase. So you can expect more, which they're just trying to get more money from you. That's all that I can think of, because as far as tourist and visitor numbers here spend, the casinos are posting record profits. All of 2023 was a record year. 2024, of course, with Super Bowl in February, Formula One coming back in November, they're already forecasting 2024 to be another record year. Yes, just greedy. So why they're raising resort fees is it just has to be just about the money. They're already charging for parking. So with an increase in resort fee, that means the tax on the room is going to increase because it's costing you more. So that's another announcement for MGM, at least here in Vegas. I don't know if that's MGM Resorts International, all of their properties across the U.S. and globally, but I know for sure MGM Resorts is raising resort fees here in Vegas. Caesars has not made any announcement on whether they're going to charge more or not. But, if they see MGM across the street busy and people paying those increased resort fees, they'll probably increase their resort fees as well. So let's see what else. Oh, so this is over at the Rio, which we all know the Rio's reputation is that it's a dump. But they did get purchased back in 2023, December 2023. They were sold to a private company, and that company announced that they were going to be investing millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars into the property, and they've already done that. They just opened a new food hall there at the Rio, and that's where the buffet used to be. So the buffet is gone. They just opened a new food hall. I have not been, but from what I've seen, it does look pretty cool. I just have no desire to go to Rio. Maybe once they do something with the rooms and fix the elevators that seem to always be broken, the escalators always broken, and maybe clean up the parking lot, then we'll maybe go over there. But being that it's not even a Caesars property anymore, and we are loyal to Caesars, there's really no point. But they opened the food hall, which that looks nice, and it does actually look really nice there. So about time they did something there. So I talked about this previously. There's that bridge that went up over Koval on Flamingo, right by Ellis Island, that intersection right there. And the city had announced that they were just going to leave it up after F1 because it was too much trouble. Now, so the businesses around there were really negatively impacted by that bridge because people are just bypassing that intersection. So visually, those cars, tens of thousands of cars per day are just passing those businesses and not even seeing them. So it has impacted Ellis Island. It's impacted that 7-Eleven there, that gas station on the corner. So the city has decided that they're going to tear that thing down, or not tear it down, but they're going to remove that bridge. What does that mean? That means even more traffic in that area there. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because to and from the airport is just crazy busy. So you can expect longer wait times at the airport. Like I mentioned, you can expect to pay more for rideshare because it's taking them longer to get from the airport to the Strip and from the Strip to the airport. So just expect to wait longer and pay more traveling between the Strip, downtown, and the airport. It's just a big mess. So Mirage announcement. Here's a recent announcement. And I'm not the first one to mention this, but we only go live on Wednesdays. There are other channels that go live almost every day. So if you watch those other channels, you've probably heard this already, maybe not. So the Mirage has officially announced, or Hard Rock announced, that they're not touching the Mirage probably till 2027, 2028. They're not doing anything at all. So previously they announced that after Super Bowl this year, they were going to completely shut down everything. The hotel room, the casino, really shut down 100% of the operations as they transform to Hard Rock, including removing the volcano and building that guitar-shaped tower. So they just announced that they're not touching it. They're not doing anything until at least 2027, 2028. However, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this, they are transforming the volcano into like a giant mountain or something for Super Bowl. Now, I don't know what Super Bowl has to do with mountains. Maybe, it's a giant mountain to climb to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. Maybe it's some sort of visual metaphor for sports. But they're making it into a big mountain, and it's supposed to be some sort of display for Super Bowl. So with that, I don't know if you guys have seen this on your local news or other channels, but Luxor looks like a giant bag of Doritos. It's completely covered in Doritos logo, and it looks like a bag of potato chips, a bag of Doritos. So that's already done. The Delano has a giant Pepsi banner across the top of it. So like I mentioned earlier, Vegas is in full Super Bowl mode right now. You can see it everywhere. And if you're going to be here during Super Bowl but are not going to Allegiant Stadium and you're thinking of just going to watch the game somewhere, yep. Paramount Pictures is all over Mirage. But you know what? They're cashing in. They're just cashing in on those marketing dollars. And you know what? If anybody here has anything to do with the Super Bowl and you want me to throw a banner up here of some potato chips and you want to pay us to do that, we'll happily oblige. Anyway, full Super Bowl mode. So if you're coming in and you're not going to Allegiant Stadium, but you're looking for a spot to watch the game, it's going to be very, very tough, because all of the restaurants, all of the bars are charging packages, viewing party packages. So you can't just, like, if you're at Planet Hollywood, for example, you can't just walk into Yolo's, that's there, the Mexican place. They're charging like $325 per person to go in and watch the Super Bowl in their restaurant. That does include open bar and a buffet, but still, I don't know that I can eat and drink $325 during, it's going to be extended halftime show, so probably 4 or 5 hours. That's still crazy, but that's what they're charging, and it's going to be all up and down the strip, beer park, the new place at Paris Sherry that just opened, all of the bars and restaurants like inside of Caesar's Palace, they're all charging Super Bowl packages. At Caesar's Palace, playoff weekend, because we were there Sunday and Monday. So Sunday, we wanted to go in and watch some football in one of the bars there, right by Gordon Ramsay. It is a Caesar's bar. I think it's a Vista. And they said we had to pay $50 minimum spend per person, my wife and I, just to watch a playoff football game. Which is ridiculous. So we just left, and we actually watched the game in our room. But Super Bowl is going to be like that. Even if you're staying in the property and you go to their house bars off of the casino floor, whatever, they're going to have minimum spend per person for you to sit there and watch the football game. And that's, of course, because they don't want a bunch of people just sitting in there watching the game, not drinking, not spending any money, right? So just expect that to be the norm for Super Bowl. Let's see. Apparently years ago, before I moved here, we just moved here in 2020. I guess years ago, there were plans to build an Atari-themed hotel here in Vegas. And for whatever reason, it just never happened, and the plans were squashed. But that's going to happen again. So they just announced, the city just announced that construction will begin on an Atari-themed hotel here in Vegas, which, of course, I mean, you've got Mandalay, or you've got the Luxor with the, some people find offensive Egyptian theme, Excalibur, that's, Excalibur, right? The Knights days, right? Knights of the Round Table, Planet Hollywood is what it is. Why not have an Atari-themed hotel as well? So that's just, have not been to the Magician's Study. No, Nick. No, that's over at Horseshoe, right? Upstairs at Horseshoe by the Versailles Tower. We have not been up there to check that out just yet. But let's see. Rather stay with your channel because it seems some of the other channels have some kind of deals with their choices. Yeah, I don't want to speculate. Thank you so much, Gary. I don't want to speculate. We just enjoy sharing our opinion and our experience, or our opinions based on our experience. And that's it. So we don't do that. I have noticed some channels that do a lot of overly positive stuff with particular properties, and will do tons of videos of just a property and everything is positive, which I think it's every property there's pros and cons for every property. So we just share an unbiased view of what to expect if you're going to be at a property. So let's see what else is going on. So Las Vegas Boulevard is being repaved. So that's going to be ongoing until Super Bowl. And we did get some comments about how it was repaved prior to F1. Now, the repaving that they did prior to F1 was only the track. So it was only one side of Las Vegas Boulevard. So the side on Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, Cosmopolitan, that was the track side that was used for F1. So the side of the street in front of Flamingo, Planet Hollywood, Harrah's, Link, all that entire side, Paris, Horseshoe, none of that was paved before F1. So that's the side that they're repaving now. So they have lanes closed. Traffic is just a mess on that side. So, I mean, that has to happen, right? Every city has to do road maintenance. And the only thing is Las Vegas is busy all year long. So it just adds to traffic. It's not a negative thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that the city is repaving the streets. God knows that it's needed. It's just impacting traffic. So you could just expect longer than usual wait times to and from the airport. And if you're trying to get a ride share around the strip from one end of the strip to the other, it might be easier to either walk or use the monorail or the tram, like from Bellagio to Park MGM. There's that free tram that you can use back there. That would be faster than trying to get around in a ride share, just moving around the strip right now. But if you are using rideshare or taxi up and down the strip, just expect to wait a little bit longer than normal. Raise resort fees. Yep. Yes. I see you. Single on the cliff. Yes, you are 100% correct. Especially during the slower times, like right now leading up to Super Bowl, it's kind of slow. We were just at Caesar's Palace actually on Monday. We stayed Sunday night, Monday night, and Monday it was an absolute ghost town. As we were around Caesar's Palace, and then Tuesday when we checked out to come back home on Tuesday, we were there till around 1:30 p.m. It was an absolute ghost town, but they're raising resort fees. That was Caesar. So Caesar's has not raised anything. At least they have not announced raising anything. But MGM, I can't imagine is any busier than Caesar's properties right now. So you can get rates at like $15, $20 at Luxor, Excalibur, and you're going to pay $37 for resort fee. And then, of course, you're going to pay taxes on the total there. So it's just an absolute mess. And Cliff. Yeah, Cliff. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting us. Appreciate it. Yeah, so they're raising, so room rate or resort fees are going to cost more than the room rate in some cases, especially during the slow season. And they already charge for parking. I don't know. It's just greed. That's all it is. It's greed. But those guys, I mean, they're publicly traded companies. They answer to shareholders every single month, every year. They've got to show profits for these shareholders so that they can keep their jobs, right? That's just what it is there. So let's see. Let's talk about some events going on this weekend if you're going to be here in Vegas. And, all of the Cirque shows, Tape Face, Wayne Newton, those guys are always performing. One thing that I love about Vegas, and somebody made a comment on one of my other videos about not talking about shows too much. And that's because in our other videos, we try to just stick to the context of the video. So for example, if we're doing a pros and cons video on a property, we stick to that. But we go to shows all the time. We love going to shows. It's one of the things that I love about living in this town is that on a Tuesday or Wednesday, if we're bored, we can just go see a Cirque show if we feel like it, go down to the strip, do dinner, do a show, and come back home and just be in our own home. So you can see a show for really any rate. You could get matinee tickets for some of the magic shows, $15. You can get tickets and on up to $500 to see minimum to see Adele if you wanted to. So definitely recommend catch a show of some sort. And like I said, if you don't want to have a show take up your entire evening, there are tons of shows at noon, 1, 2, all afternoon. There's different shows for different periods of time or different lengths of time that you can catch. Highly recommend doing that. So this is just some of the big stuff that's going on in Vegas this weekend. And it's probably because it's playoff football this weekend. So the bars are going to be full of people watching football. The sports books are going to be full, people watching football. So it's probably why you don't have a lot of big stuff to compete with that, because so many people are going to be here for sports this weekend. Now, however, there are some big guys. Donnell Rawling is going to be in town at Wise Guys Comedy Club. And if you don't know who Donnell Rawlings is, you might remember him as Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show. Now, I did see him here in Vegas when we went to see Dave Chappelle at MGM, and Donnell Rawlings actually opened, and it was unannounced that Donnell Rawlings was going to be there, but he opened for Dave Chappelle, and he is absolutely hilarious. He's going to be here in town this weekend on the 27th at Wise Guys Comedy Club. So if you're looking to see just good humor, he's hilarious. Check him out. Santana, who I've had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing for our television show, Ninth Island Connection, is going to be performing at House of Blues on the 27th and 28th. And one thing that I really wanted to mention about Santana is House of Blues is a great venue for music. It's inside Mandalay Bay, so you've got great dining options. There's gambling options. There's really everything there at Mandalay Bay for you. And House of Blues is a smaller venue, so it's more of an intimate setting, and he's just a great performer. He's super talented, singer, songwriter, musician. And he's performing at House of Blues this weekend. He actually lives here in Vegas also. You've got Styx is going to be over at the Venetian on the 27th. Randy Rainbow is going to be at the Mirage on the 26th. I'm not 100% who Randy Rainbow is, but he has a massive following. So if you're interested, if you're a Randy Rainbow fan, head on over to the Mirage. Even though it is owned by Hard Rock, they have not changed anything. It's still branded as Mirage over there on the 26th. U2 is going to be over at the Sphere on the 26th and 27th. You guys know what the Sphere is. It's all over social media. It's a giant ball out there in Vegas. Everybody can see from the airplane coming into Vegas, and you can see it from lots of places on the Strip. One thing you'll notice on some of the hotels, like Flamingo, for example, and Harrah's, because I did see this on their website, some of the rooms that face the Sphere, where you would have a view of the Sphere, they changed the room. So to say like one king attraction view, and they're charging more for the rooms that have a view of the Sphere because it's such a big Vegas attraction. And it's all over social media. Pretty much everybody that comes to Vegas is posting something about the Sphere. So with that being said, the bridge between the Wynn and Venetian is the best view of the Sphere on the Strip, unless you're right there. I mean, it's right in front of you. You can get a great view. The city, however, the city council or the commissioners, county commissioners, right, for Vegas, have approved a new city ordinance that prohibits stopping or standing on pedestrian bridges. So that means that police can cite you for standing on the bridge for too long. I'm sure that they're just going to be giving warnings, moving people along. But I think that's due in part, this is speculation. I'm just like wearing my common sense hat of why would the city go through the trouble of passing an ordinance that prohibits people from stopping or standing on these pedestrian bridges, because so many people take videos and selfies with the Las Vegas Strip, all the neon lights behind them, the cars, on the street there. It's an iconic view from all of these bridges. And the ordinance is that you cannot stop or stand. So my speculation, and you guys please comment below what you guys think is the reasoning. The only thing that I can think of, this first came about pre-F1, because Formula One did not want anyone to watch the race without buying a ticket. So F1, I'm sure, got in there and said, hey, we don't want to have hundreds of people, thousands of people up and down Las Vegas Boulevard just standing on these bridges watching the race, and they're not paying for it, where somebody sitting in the bleachers with the same or similar view is paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to watch the race. So that's where this first conversation came up. And then there's the homeless, and I'm not saying anything about homeless people, nothing negatively. I know a lot of them, at least that I've experienced here in Vegas, do have mental illness. So part of that was to have some sort of outreach so that you don't have homeless with mental illness clogging up the bridges. And there has been acts of violence with that population and tourists, and there's really a black eye. Now, what I do know is that they do have social service teams that are partnering with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department with outreach for that population to try to get these guys help, the mental help that they need, to get them cleaned up, get them services that they need. And then there's the panhandlers that just panhandle on the bridges. So this gives the police authority to really move them along off of these bridges. But we all know that it all started with F1 not wanting people standing on these bridges watching the race for free. So Let's say they say it's for beggars, homeless, and performers. Yeah, yep. So there's a lot of different reasons. The performers are performing. I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, with these folks with mental illness that are living on and around the pedestrian bridges and the elevators and stairwells and that stuff, hopefully they get these guys the help that they need, because that's really it's just sad. So that's it on that. Let's see. So U2 at the Sphere. Aaron Lewis is going to be over at the Palms. And I did want to mention the Palms on the 27th, because the Palms is such a beautiful property. We were just there a few weeks ago. It's just beautiful. It's a really nice property. It's clean, amazing restaurant options, like really anything that you're looking for, from grab and go to fine dining. It's just like, it's an amazing property, and they've really done a lot to that property. So definitely worth checking out. If you're just looking for something different to do, looking to get off the strip and want to see a new property. Let's see, what else do we have? Santana Sticks. Oh, the Desert Dogs are going to be, that's the Las Vegas professional lacrosse team. And right on your show. Oh no, that's from, we made an episode about Resorts World when they did their grand opening. We actually interviewed the head of food and beverage over there for the TV show. So looking at, well, thank you for your work today. Appreciate it. Oh, YouTube put a Resorts World commercial in my video. Awesome. Well, thank you, YouTube. Resorts World, I'm going to talk about that for a second, because it's an absolutely amazing property. It's a beautiful property. They did a great job. There's just no energy over there. Not a lot of people. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully the Fontainebleau opening helps. I know that the city did announce, I don't know if you guys weren't here for a couple of lives ago when I talked about this, the city has already approved a pedestrian bridge that's going to go across that intersection, diagonally across that intersection, and connect Resorts World Las Vegas to the Wynn. So there will be a pedestrian bridge there. Hopefully that helps Resorts World, because it's a shame that it's so dead in there, because it's a beautiful property. It's an absolutely beautiful property. Yeah, good for them. That's smart. It's smart for them to do that, because that said, they're going to get, so Fontainebleau is going to get that just new traffic, right? Because it's a new thing. It's been over 10 years. It's changed so many owners. And I think the person that actually opened it was the original owner of the property 10 years ago when they first broke ground. And then it was sold several different times. And then the original owner bought it again and completed the project. So Fontainebleau is going to have just natural traffic from people that just want to go see it. So it's great that Resorts World is trying to piggyback off of that publicity to get some people to come into their doors, because it's dead in there. And I do research, and I don't bash any properties. You'll never hear me bash properties. Like I said, there's pros and cons to every property, based on what you're looking for, what anybody's looking for when they come to Vegas, right? There's low end, there's high end, there's low table minimums, there are resorts that only like high rollers go to. So there's something for everybody here in Vegas, and every property has, like I said, pros and cons. But one thing that I've, and maybe if you guys have seen this, please comment. I've never heard of or seen on social media or heard on the news, a big winner at Resorts World, like a visitor from Utah playing a slot machine at Resorts World wins $1 million jackpot, or somebody wins $700,000 playing Pai Gow at Resorts World. I just never hear of that. I think because people just don't go gamble there. People go check it out and then they leave and gamble somewhere else, which is a shame, like I said, because it's such a nice property. So I want to talk about one big winner, Circus Circus. I love Circus Circus. It's kind of dodgy, but I've always had fun there. I've only stayed there once because the room that I stayed in back in 2005 was a complete dump, and I just never stayed there again. I don't know if they've done anything to the rooms, but the casino was always fun. So I don't know. It's still fun. So let's talk about one big winner here, and we'll just close this out. Before that, if you guys aren't already, please check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're Ninth Island Connection everywhere that we are, except for Twitter. Twitter is Ninth Island TV because of too many characters. So Ninth Island TV on Twitter. Everywhere else, we're Ninth Island Connection. I do post heavily on our Instagram and our TikTok. We post more than we do here just because it's easier with those just to do shorts and fast little videos of pictures and that kind of stuff. And I do respond. Yes, I love the pet-friendly hotels because we take Carlos with us. So we do post more on like Instagram, for example, and I do respond a lot quicker to comments on Instagram just because I see them faster than on YouTube. I try to get to all my YouTube comments daily. I try to set aside at least an hour just to respond to comments, but we do get more comments on YouTube than we do on Instagram and TikTok. So it's easier for me to respond to those comments because we just don't get as many. So if you guys have questions, things about like pet-friendly hotels here in Vegas, hit us up on Instagram. Like I said, Ninth Island Connection. So we had one big winner that I wanted to call out because my friends and family, when they come to visit, they always laugh at me when I tell them to set aside a small budget for the airport to do a little gambling when you're leaving on your way home, because people actually win at the airport. And they never believe me. They always laugh, like, who gambles at the airport? I'm in Vegas. Why would I gamble at the airport? Because people win gambling at the airport. So I always recommend save, cockroach a couple bucks. I mean, set aside a couple bucks to have an airport budget on your way out of town. So just on January 15th, somebody was leaving, and they chose to remain anonymous. Somebody was leaving Vegas and decided to do a little bit of gambling at the airport while they were waiting for their flight on their way home, and won just over $1 million jackpot on a slot machine at the airport. So congratulations to that person. And they chose to remain anonymous. But like I said, you win at the airport. People win. I've never won at the airport. I always lose money whenever we fly out and I gamble. But people do win. So will I continue to try 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks at the airport on our way out of town? Absolutely, I will. And I recommend that you guys do the same if you're watching this. So let me make sure I didn't miss any comments here. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate all of you guys' support. And that's really how I like to end. Clint, you and Christine do an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you so much. March 30th to April 9th. It'll be pool season. Perfect time to be in town. It's not too hot just yet. And the spring breakers are gone at that point. So it's a nice time to be in Vegas. You've done well. Good for you, Lisa. Good for you. Yeah, I just can't seem to win at the airport, but I keep trying. So I'll just close it out with always just thanking you guys so much for continuing to support our channel. April 1st, 55th birthday. Oh, awesome. Happy birthday early. Hope you have a great time and you win big. Thank you guys so much for supporting our channel, for following us on social media, for commenting, for tuning in if you watch our television show. We appreciate you guys. We are working on expanding the markets with our television show. I am speaking with ABC and NBC to try to get on about 47 television stations on the East Coast, and working on the Midwest as well, so around Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, working on getting on in those areas, as well as the Pacific Northwest, so that more people can watch our television show. Thank you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys as always. And if we see you here in Vegas, please say hello. We love to meet you guys, and just kind of find out more about you, see how you're doing here in Vegas, what you like, what are some of the things that you get up to when you're in town here in Vegas. Appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.